Hi guys, Miss Stewart here, and I want to use this screencast to show you some information on your screen regarding the stages of change. Now, if you've listened to the narrated notes for this module, you will know that there is a presentation, and this is it, on specifically the stages of change, or what we call developing a healthier you. So I wanted to show you where that information is at within your module and show you a couple of documents that I think are going to be very important for you that you can use, and talk a little bit about the stages of change. So one of the things that I hope that you will start to think about in this course and your time here at the university is, how do I become healthier? How do I become more well? And there is a process for being able to do that. There are multiple models out there, but one of the models that I really enjoy lecturing on and using is called the trans-theoretical model of change. Some people just call it the stages of change. And basically it's a model that looks at the fact that people go through different stages, and they move through different stages as they are trying to make some sort of a behavior change. And so I'm going to show you what those stages are and give you some documentation on how you can sort of assess where you're at with that change, and then how do you progress through those particular changes. And so what I'm going to do is to sort of move here, and we're going to look at this information here that is in your module 1, and you're going to notice a module within your module called the stages of change, developing a healthier you. And the first thing that I want you to look at is called the stages of behavioral change, and I'm going to pull it up here on the screen. It is a PDF format, and this document essentially gives you the different stages in the trans-theoretical model. And that model basically says that individuals can come into behavior change, not always necessarily at the beginning at the pre-contemplation, but some individuals may come in at contemplation or preparation, and they move through the model. Now, ideally, we take someone from pre-contemplation down to maintenance, and that's where they stay. They stay at maintenance, but sometimes things happen known as lapses, and you'll see that down here at the bottom. And you got to be able to work through that particular lapse or that key barrier, and then move back to a certain part within a stage. So, for this particular class, I want you to understand what the changes or the stages are and sort of what they mean. So if we have someone who's in that pre-contemplation stage, they're really not even thinking about a change. They're really unaware, they're under-aware of the problem, and believe that it really can't be solved. And so that may be some of you. I would hope that most of you are at least within what we call the contemplation phase, which is you're sort of weighing the pros and cons. You're looking at decisional balance, and is this particular change something that would be a positive thing to make. So you're aware that there may be a problem, and you're going to start to evaluate the risk and the benefits of making that change. And then we want you to move into that preparation. Again, there's no time limit on moving through these models or these stages, but again, everybody works in different ones. But we want you to sort of move into that preparation phase, which is that getting ready. You're seeking opportunities, you're purchasing equipment, you're purchasing footwear, whatever the case may be. You're purchasing resources and gathering information to be able to get ready to change. And then, of course, we want you to put that change and practice that change as part of this new behavior. So that's the action phase. You desire different opportunities to maintain these activities, and you believe that this change is going to be beneficial. And then, of course, hopefully after time that you'll be in that maintenance phase, which is when you've really incorporated this change into your life and it is part of your lifestyle. You feel very empowered. You still have this desire, and you want to maintain this level that you're currently at. Now, there is that final stage that a lot of people don't talk about with behavior change, which is called a lapse. And I think it's very important that we talk about it, because most of you have probably tried to make some sort of behavior change, whether it's to eat better or increase water or move more or stop smoking or whatever the behavior is. And of course, we all are going to have those lapses that occur. And so you need to sort of know how to deal with those at the time. So those are sort of some of the stages and the traits, and then ultimately what you have here on your screen is the goals and the strategies. So for those individuals that are in pre-contemplation phase, we sort of want you to start getting an increased awareness of the risk and the benefits of making a particular change. Contemplation, again, we want you to start gathering information and options and develop some sort of structure that works for you. If you're in that preparation phase, obviously we want you to stay on a structured, regular programming, positive reinforcements surrounding you. If you're in that action phase, we're hoping that your change really becomes a habit. And then that maintenance phase, we want to maintain where you are. That puts you as sort of in that happy place. And so you'll look at the last column, there's some strategies. The very first one for most of you is going to be you need to evaluate your readiness to change, where you're at. And I have a document inside this module I think would be very helpful for you. Contemplation, again, is where you sort of look at the pros and the cons, risk and benefits, and we call that decisional balance. So I also have a decisional balance sheet there. Being able to set SMART goals is really, really important. Most people set goals that are way too broad, so it's really important that you can set very specific goals, and we will work on goal setting within this particular course. You want to make sure that, again, that you're being able to track your progress, reevaluate your strategies, and change up your routine when you get to that maintenance phase. So this is just a little bit about the trans-theoretical model. The readiness to change and the decisional balance worksheet I've definitely put inside your module, so I'm going to go back to that particular, and I'm going to come to a different view here for you. Makes it a little bit easier to see. So I'm going to open up module 1 and scroll down, and I'm going to see it here. So the readiness to change and the decisional balance worksheet are here, and I suggest that if you're very interested in making a behavior change, that you pull up those two documents and use them. And also the behavior contract, or some people call this a personal contract. It's really helpful to sort of hold you accountable, especially if you have someone in your social network that is going to make this change with you, or someone who's a very positive influence in your life that can help you stay on track. I suggest you sit down and talk with them about your personal contract, talk to them about your goals, set your goals, where you want to be, and sort of help them help you be accountable and hold you accountable for where you want to be when it comes to this behavior change. So that gives you a little bit of information about the stages of change. Again, you'll need to make sure that you review this information for this module, but if you, as always, have any questions about behavior change, please don't hesitate to email me.